It's 34 days to election 2020. Hello and welcome to the Midday News with me, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. This bulletin is coming to you live from Joy 99.7 FM in Accra at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Affiliates across the country, including ATL FM Cape Coast, Radio Max Takrade, and around the world at myjoyonline.com. Coming up, there are calls for Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to step aside as special prosecutor describes inclusion of his company Data Bank in a Japan royalties deal as bid rigging, breach of public procurement laws, and an opaque arrangement.
Ofori-Atta appointed Ofori-Atta as the transaction advisor to the government of Ghana, even before we, the people of Ghana, had been told about it. He must appoint a new finance minister for the integrity of Ghana's public purse protection.
The finance minister has been defending the deal, insisting he's not been involved in any data bank work since February 2014. Meanwhile, the minority in parliament questions the president's directive to have the deal returned to the House.
Parliament cannot remedy the defects so identified by the special prosecutor. How is Parliament going to cure nepotism and cronyism?
And former President Mahama adds his voice to calls on the Electoral Commission to quickly provide political parties with the electoral roll as he accuses the Commission of incompetence 34 days to the polls.
They haven't published the names, and so we don't know whose names have been taken off. People are going to get there on election day, and they say your name is not in the register. And there might be a genuine reason why they should be on the register. We've not been told. A lot of things have gone wrong.
We'll hear from him after a delegation of European Union ambassadors called on him.
And in sports, we'll hear from Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp as the UEFA Champions League enters Match Day 3 with live commentary on Joy 99.7 FM.
Also,
we have to vote, and this is the most important election of our lifetime.
And we will make America great again. Thank you, Florida. Go out.
Anxiety and excitement building up as America decides today.
Right, and that's not so much because of the Electoral College, although that's always been in place. So already there are about 95 million votes that have been cast.
We'll hear from the U.S. ambassador to Ghana who says the Electoral College system should not be taken for granted. Thanks for your company. The details now. There are calls for Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to step aside as inclusion of his company Data Bank in the Japan royalties deal is cited by Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu. In his risk assessment report, Mr. Amidu says the involvement of Data Bank Financial Services Limited in the Japan agreement smells of quote-unquote bid rigging. Mr. Amidu further alleges that the procurement process was manipulated by the Ministry of Finance by adding an unapproved rider for collaboration with a Ghanaian firm. The report also says Ghana's procurement laws were breached in what the special prosecutor believes was a move geared at ensuring the inclusion of Data Bank, a company the finance minister has interest in, participating in the transaction. There's more in the following news desk report.
The report discloses the identity of Imara Corporate Finance Limited of South Africa as one of the transaction advisors. The report notes the processes that led to the procurement of the firm should have gone to Parliament because it's an international transaction. That was never done. Secondly, the whole of the fees for the bid purportedly won by Imara of South Africa with its decoy Data Bank of Ghana is to be paid in US dollars to Imara Corporate Finance Limited of South Africa. The mandate agreement does not say when and how the decoy Data Bank of Ghana was to be paid by Imara for a contract purportedly won and performed jointly. This opaque arrangement in the contract negotiation process is what made the analysis by the Office of the Special Prosecutor conclude that there is a reasonable suspicion of bid rigging and corruption activity, including the potential for illicit financial flows and money laundering in the arrangement of fees payable to Data Bank of Ghana as the decoy, which was not approved under the Public Procurement Authority Act. The transaction advisors nonetheless went ahead to identify and recommend service providers and underwriters to the Ministry of Finance for appointment by the Republic of Ghana. The ministry acted contrary to the Public Procurement Act and the Public Financial Management Act in delegating the power to appoint service providers to the unlawfully appointed transaction advisors. The transaction advisors, whose selection and appointment by the Finance Ministry did not measure up favorably to the analysis of risk of corruption and anti-corruption assessments, were potentially susceptible to undue influence, favoritism, cronyism, nepotism, and all forms of discrimination abhorred under the 1992 Constitution, leading to the suspected packing of the service providers and underwriters' position with entitlements not chosen on merit.
That was a News Desk report. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has responded to the Special Prosecutor's Corruption Risk Assessment. My colleague Joseph Akable joins me in the studio. First, Joseph, tell us what he has to say concerning the involvement of DataBank.
At first, he says he co-founded DataBank 30 years ago, which is now the leading investment bank in Ghana. He said it has for 7 times won the best securities brokerage company in Ghana and has been actively involved in virtually every initial public offering of state enterprises under all governments in the Fourth Republic. He goes on to say that in 1994, DataBank formally advised the Rawlings administration during the liquidity crisis that threatened to cripple Ashanti goldfields. He says in 2007, DataBank was co-manager and dealer for the first ever Eurobond by a Ghanaian government, amounting to $750 million. He says DataBank was also a co-manager in the 2014 Eurobond issue. In 2020, DataBank was again part of the team that issued the highest ever tenure in Africa for a sovereign bond. He says he resigned as executive chair of DataBank in August 2012 and resigned from all DataBank boards in February 2014.
Joseph, the report also says that there was breach of procurement laws that led to the inclusion of DataBank. What does the Finance Minister say about that also?
So the report specifically makes the point that at the instance of requesting for the PP approval, it was not indicated that the foreign company that will win it will have local partners. The Finance Minister says the stipulation in the request for proposals for bidding entities to collaborate with local firms or present a consortium to bid for contracts is not alien or offensive to procurement practice or the Procurement Act. He says following an evaluation on the 12th of January 2018 of the technical proposals submitted by the 2 sets of firms by a duly constituted evaluation panel, Imara/DataBank emerged the winners, and so saying that it doesn't offend the law and was in accordance with the due process.
Joseph Akable there with details of the Finance Minister's response to the Special Prosecutor's Corruption Risk Assessment on the Ejapa Royalties deal. While Chief Policy Analyst at the Ghana Institute of Public Policy Options, Dr. Charles Reku-Brobe, says Ghana needs a new Finance Minister. He insists Mr. Ofori-Atta has not handled his business interest well.
I think it's quite appalling. I mean, if you sum up the current Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, went through to ensure that Ofori-Atta appointed Ofori-Atta as the transaction advisor to the government of Ghana, even before we, the people of Ghana, had been told about it. All of this took place in the last quarter of 2017, and it was after the deal had been cooked and the insider trading established that in 2018, at the beginning of 2018, we, the people of Ghana, were even told that we're going to monetize the royalties of this country. He must appoint a new finance minister for the integrity of Ghana's public purse protection and specific.
Dr. Charles Reku-Brobe is Chief Policy Analyst at the Ghana Institute of Public Policy Options. Anti-graft campaigner Vitus Azim says government must abandon the deal.
Well, if I had a chance to advise the president, I would suggest that he should avoid further embarrassment to his government by sending the matter back to Parliament. He should just withdraw it, because it's not just what the special prosecutor has come out with. There were already concerns about this whole deal. Don't forget the Attorney General's even advice, which he later withdrew.
Vitus Azim is an anti-graft campaigner. Let's now speak to Edem Senanu. He's with the Citizens Movement Against Corruption. Thanks for your time this afternoon, sir. So what should happen going forward? The special prosecutor says he believes some laws have been breached, monies have been expended, yet we are being told the deal should go back to Parliament. Does that resolve it for you?
Well, thank you very much. It's a difficult one, and we could have saved ourselves this situation and embarrassment if the processes leading to finalizing this had been opened up, as civil society had suggested, for various experts from the extractive industry to management and etc. To give their views to tighten the vehicle and the mechanisms that were being put in place. At this stage, it's within the president's mandate to say he's referred it to Parliament. Obviously, as Ghanaians, many people are very angry because they think that Parliament should have done a better job initially in the first instance. I think that there is opportunity to continue to build our institutions. If Parliament is so minded, they have a second chance, although on the hot seat, to reopen up considerations, allow for position papers for experts from different groups to come and give input to probably change the structure, because as the SPO has pointed out, this does not guarantee value to the people of Ghana. So let's change the structure of what has been proposed. Let's see whether the concept, which many of us think had value, to the extent that rather than getting trickling amounts ever so often, we are able to get something substantive and use it to promote development. I think that the concept of that nugget aspect of it, it's a good thing. If we can build on it, that would be a great thing. So moving forward, Parliament should understand that it's under great scrutiny. The people of Ghana are not very happy with it. In fact, we are very angry with this whole process. They have an opportunity to make amends, but they need to do a very thorough one, so that whatever vehicle or mechanism structure we come up with is one that can assure Ghanaians that we truly get value for whatever is being done on our behalf.
Mr. Senano, on the other hand, we have breaches in the law, and many have said that just taking this back to Parliament does not deal with that aspect of this case.
Absolutely. So those where the law must prosecute, the law should prosecute. The special prosecutors, and okay, so I get the point. The consequential outstanding issues ought to be referred to various groupings. Say the CID, where there's criminal intent that is being suggested. Let's have the investigative bodies follow those trends and to bring closure to those as well, so that when there are people who've been found culpable, that part of it must also be followed through. So yes, you are right. There must be the follow through on investigations where some culpability has been suggested, and let's make sure that anyone who has done anything underhand is also held to book.
You spoke about Parliament doing a better job this time round, and earlier we know the minority worked out on this deal, and there were concerns that their submissions and their reservations about the deal were not paid, attention was not paid to that. But we are going back to Parliament now, and we still have that majority, even though we've been told that this will be put on hold until the December elections. Mr. Vitus Azim thinks that we should withdraw it altogether. Do you agree?
Well, I mean, my other brother Vitus, I'm sure, is equally angry about this. And I get his point when he says that perhaps we should withdraw it completely. I think that I saw a nugget there. The concept of we've never done this where we've got a box sum rather than the trickling amounts, which we were never able to use for anything tangible. I think that that idea can be built on. I also think that if you take the democracies that are there today for us to admire, some of them have 200 years of grappling around these things. Our democracy is still young. I find this exciting that not only does the Special Prosecutor's Office put away what Parliament has done and point out that you guys didn't do a good job, but the people of Ghana have been on radio this morning, on TV, expressing their serious disappointment with Parliament. I think that it sends a message where Parliament should reconsider its approach.
That's Adam Senano. He's with the Citizens Movement Against Corruption speaking to us there. Let's head to Parliament now, because the minority is kicking against the move to have the deal returned to the House. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo is correspondent. He joins us with more. What has the minority been saying, Joseph?
Harun Idrisu is firm in his mind that the said agreement has no business coming back to Parliament, and that Parliament cannot rectify a wrong that includes breach of various acts.
Parliament cannot remedy the defects so identified by the special prosecutor. How is Parliament going to cure nepotism and cronyism? How is Parliament going to cure that you appointed a chief executive without due process? How is Parliament going to cure that you pass a resolution on a non-existing law? You don't build a house on nothing. It was built on nothing.
Joseph, the majority has also been speaking. What have they been saying?
The majority leader argues that it's early days yet, everyone is waiting for what specific referral will come to the House before a decision on what to do can be taken.
Parliamentary correspondent Joseph Obukugakpo. Let's go to election-related matters now. Members of the NDC in the Ododo-Diodio constituency who involved themselves in violent activities ahead of elections will be handed over to the police. Member of Parliament for the constituency, Nielante Vanderpoy, is warning and committing himself to peace ahead of this year's crucial elections. He's also urging the police to be impartial and professional in the discharge of the duties ahead of this year's polls. Nielante Vanderpoy spoke at an event organized by the National Small Arms Commission to commit various political actors to peace.
The entire membership of our party in the Ododo constituency to commit myself to peace before, during, and after the December 7th presidential and parliamentary elections. I do this in the solemn belief that in this constituency, we are a family. And as such, I cannot see myself vandalizing, brutalizing, attacking any member of my family. I stand here to say that we in the NDC are committed to total peace. We want a peaceful elections. We want a peaceful environment so that our people will come out in their numbers to vote on the 7th of December 2020 for their preferred candidate. We stand here committing ourselves to the fact that any member of our party who will be involved in any violence, any attack, anything that will disturb the peace, we condemn it and we will not hesitate to hand that person over to the appropriate authorities.
Nielante Vanderpoy is Member of Parliament for the Ododo-Diodio constituency and a member of the NDC. While on his part, Executive Secretary of the National Small Arms Commission, Jones Aple, urged political parties and their supporters to resolve their differences through dialogue and not armed conflict.
To get the Member of Parliament and so the candidates for the NDC in Ododo-Diodio to give its message of peace to Ghanaians. As I said, our focus is the non-introduction of guns into any political conflict or any political challenge, because the consequences, as I said, are dire.
You heard the Executive Secretary of the National Small Arms Commission, Jones Aple. The Small Arms Commission was also at the office of the NPP in the constituency and interacted with the parliamentary candidate, Nielante Vanderpoy. Still on elections, former President Mahama has criticized the Electoral Commission on the delay in furnishing political parties with electoral rolls, saying with 34 days to the general election, it leaves little time for parties to scrutinize the register. The minority in Parliament has already raised concerns. The Commission is yet to respond to those concerns, but addressing a delegation of EU ambassadors at his office in Accra on Monday, the NDC flag bearer said the country is bearing the brunt of what he describes as the EC's incompetence.
We're beginning to suffer the results of a late registration of voters has led to late exhibition, omission of names. It gives us very little time to correct before we go into the election. And I'll just give an example. They announced that they've taken 30,000 names out of the register, after, going through the register. They haven't published the names, and so we don't know whose names have been taken off. People are going to get there on election day, and they say your name is not in the register. And there might be a genuine reason why they should be on the register. We've not been told, who those people are, why their names have been taken off. A lot of things have gone wrong. We've filed nominations with a provisional register. It's never happened in this country where you file nominations for presidential and parliamentary using a provisional register. And it's even after we filed that they said 30,000 names have been taken out. And so if a voter, who believes he was registered, signed my presidential nomination form and you've now taken his name out, it means that my form, so a lot of things have gone wrong, in terms of the processes.
And that was the NDC's flag bearer, former President Mahama there. This is the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. Still to come.
We have to vote. And this is the most important election of our lifetime.
And we will make America great again. Thank you, Florida. Go out.
Anxiety and excitement building up as America decides today.
Right, and that's not so much because of the Electoral College, although that's always been in place. So already there are about 95 million votes that have been cast.
We'll hear from the U.S. ambassador to Ghana, who says the Electoral College system should not be taken for granted. Details in a moment.
Fellow Ghanaians, since 2017, the NPP has put over 1.2 million young people through secondary school free because of free SHS. We are leaving no one behind. This December, remember your vote will make a difference in the life of every young person who is currently benefiting from free SHS or getting ready to go to secondary school. Let's protect our progress. Vote NPP. Vote Nana Akufo-Addo for 4 more years to do more for you.
Would you like to work while studying and get to stay back for 2 years after your postgraduate degree? Then attend the Education in Ireland Virtual Fair and speak one-on-one with representatives of leading Irish institutions and colleges on the 7th of November 2020. Time 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Register via africa.educationinireland.live. For inquiries, call or WhatsApp +234 806 245 7567.
John Mahama has a solid track record of investing in the health of Ghanaians. He built ultra-modern hospitals such as the Ridge Hospital, University of Ghana Medical Center, Bank of Ghana Hospital, Maritime Hospital, as well as many district hospitals, polyclinics, and CHIP compounds. The next NDC government will provide free primary health care for every Ghanaian. Our free primary health care plan will provide quality health care for all Ghanaians at no cost to the individual. Under this plan, no Ghanaian will pay for health care in district hospitals, polyclinics, health centers, and CHIP compounds. Free primary health care will eliminate cost barrier to health care and guarantee all Ghanaians universal access to quality health care. You will not need a national health insurance card to benefit from free primary health care. John Mahama, provider of massive hospital infrastructure, is ready to deliver free primary health care to all Ghanaians. Vote John Mahama. Vote NDC.
Thanks for staying here on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. It's now time for sports, and Hans is looking all sporty himself.
Yes, Bernice, which of the European clubs do you support?
I'm actually a Real Madrid fan.
Right, so Real Madrid are actually in action tonight against Inter Milan, and live commentary returns on Joy 99.7 FM. Tonight, Real Madrid take on Inter Milan in a crucial game for the Spanish giant. Madrid will be without Eder Militao, who tested positive for COVID-19, but Spanish journalist Juan Castro believes Zinedine Zidane's side can cope without the Brazilian.
Well, of course, it's not a good news for Real Madrid and for Real Madrid fans and for Zinedine Zidane. That is quite true. But fortunately, the rest of the squad is okay. So that means that the match will be played in the normal circumstance, and the rest of the players, except the normal absence like Carvajal, they will be playing. So it's true that it's inconvenient for Real Madrid to play this final, but still they have enough players in the central defender, of course, to defend this final against Inter Milan. So it's a big handicap, but not big enough to be worried against Inter Milan.
Well, if you're looking out for the English clubs, Liverpool are taking on Atalanta, Manchester City also taking on Olympiacos all tonight in the UEFA Champions League.
Thank you very much, Hans, there with sports. Now, Cocoa Board has with immediate effect reviewed the implementation of its cocoa sustainability program to prevent abuse of the scheme. This follows a Joy News investigation that revealed how one could rent a cocoa certificate for as high as 1 million cedis. Under the program, farmers are paid extra premium for growing certified cocoa. Our hotline documentary, Robbing the Poor, also detailed blatant abuse of the system, giving rise to a situation where some licensed buying companies, LBCs, did not pay the appropriate premium and also passed regular cocoa as certified ones. A leaked memo cited by Joy News indicates Cocoa Board will not allow any LBC without a foundation to operate the sustainability program during the 2020-2021 main crop season. Here are extracts.
Per the circular to the licensed buying companies, under no condition will a buyer be permitted to undertake sustainable projects outside the foundation. It adds that, consequently, any LBCs requesting for approval to engage in sustainable or certified cocoa programs shall provide the following for consideration. First, documentary proof of the establishment of a foundation or oversight committee. Second, documentary evidence that a joint foundation account has been opened for the program. And thirdly, the LBCs must provide name of certification body which will audit the certification process. Statement says Messrs Business Assurance BV, a certification body for auditing sustainable or certified, has been blacklisted. Subsequently, any LBCs found to have engaged the services of the above certification will have its certified cocoa sold as convention without recourse to the LBCs involved.
We've been joined by Deputy Chief Executive of Cocoa Board in charge of operations, Dr. Emmanuel Opoku. Thank you for your time here this afternoon. So, how would these requirements and standards curb the abuse of, curb the abuse in the sustainability program?
Hello. Can you speak up a bit because the line is so faint?
Hi, Doc. Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I am asking how the requirements we cited in your memo will deal with abuse in the cocoa sustainability program.
Yes. I think I recall that in my last conversation with you on the same topic, I noted that we have put together a certain regulatory mechanism or framework which will guide the operations of all companies that want to enlist or want to go through the certification program. So for the production and supply of certified and traceable cocoa beans for the market. The committee, which was made up of representatives from the various interest groups, have come up with a draft document that is under review currently.
Okay.
When we are done, we will all go through it, and then we will adopt it.
We'll have to end it here. Apologies, we'll have to end it here, but that was Chief Executive of Cocoa Board in charge of operations, Dr. Emmanuel Opoku.
You know what makes America great? People. And that is what he has rallied together. I believe in the preservation of life. I believe our president...
And 5 hours after polls officially opened in the U.S., there is anxiety and excitement as millions of Americans cast their ballots to determine who emerges president ahead of the elections. President Donald Trump said a win for him will make America greater.
Made America powerful again, our military. We have made America wealthy again. Wealthy. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Florida. Go out and vote. Thank you.
While on his part, Joe Biden, who spent the night in Pennsylvania, called on voters to show their rejection of racism and intimidation by voting for him.
President Trump is terrified of what will happen in Pennsylvania. He knows the people of Pennsylvania get to have their say. If you have your say, he doesn't stand a chance. The American people will not be silenced. We can put an end to this presidency that is from the very beginning sought to divide us, to tear us apart.
Well, earlier on the Joy News channel today, U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Stephanie Sullivan, said the Electoral College should not be taken for granted.
So one of the things I want to emphasize today is that it's going to take quite a bit of time for all the results, all the votes to be counted, and for the Electoral College process to play out after the votes are counted.
That's the U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Stephanie Sullivan. There. Stay with us as we bring you comprehensive coverage from 12 midnight on the Joy News channel as we follow the U.S. elections. It's now time for entertainment, Maps.
Has Sarkodie endorsed President Akufo-Addo ahead of the December polls? Well, many seem to think so, and here's why. Well, that's a new song from Sarkodie featuring Kwame Eugene titled Happy Day.
Interesting. Thank you, Maps. And that's how we end this edition of the Midday News. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I'm Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. I really appreciate your company. Please don't go away yet. At 1, we've got business news for you. And right after this, Dr. Mensa Otabo has Living Word.
When you want it, just move on.